on the right. Now, what I want you to listen for, oh, this is one of the characters here. It's about two assassins, and you'll see the next assassin on the next slide. When we get to the next slide, though, my friends, what you're going to hear is not one melody at a time. You're going to hear two melodies. Now, we don't typically hear that in the West unless you listen to a lot of Baroque music, especially Bach. But it's going to be two melodies at the same time with different texts, okay? Which was very common at the end of the Middle Ages. It's something that was, well, the genre was called a motet. And it got to the point, friends, two different melodies, equally important at the same time, and guess what? And then you're going to see it here. She's going to switch to another language very quickly. That's not Latin. I'll put it up here, and I'll explain why when we do that. So here's what I want you to listen for. Listen for those medieval elements there. Listen for the Latin. Listen for the electronic influence, even though it's not electronica here. That thumping bass line, the thumping bass drum. Listen for that. And when we get to the second slide, listen for the polyphony. And I'll blast up what you're hearing. So hopefully we get a new cable here. I'm sorry for those of you who came in. Only one speaker's working right now. So here we go. This is Salvanos live by Yuki Kajiura, Fiction Junction. Saxophone. Electronica. Japanese accent throws me a bit. The only thing I could tell. Okay. So the first one more time. By the way, I go to a Presbyterian church. I ran this by my music minister. I said, "Can we do this in church?" Guess what she said? Yes. Okay. Well, look at the text. There's nothing wrong with the text. I mean, I said, well, we're not going to. Well, granted, our singers will not be dressed like Calafina, but at the same time, though. So you heard that chant elements, correct? You heard the electronic elements. You heard the polyphony here, and she switches to Greek here. Can anybody know why? Some of you, anybody know why? That's the beginning of the Mass. You hear the Kyrie eleison, God have mercy. So Lord have mercy, we hear a lot. Christ have mercy, Christe eleison, Kyrie eleison. So it's the triune concept of God in the Christian tradition there is why she switches to Greek. So it's really, I think it's fascinating because in the middle of all this Latin, I'm like, now she's in Greek. This is fantastic. But again, I think, and I'm guessing here because I'd love to spend some time with her, and I wish I'd been more aggressive in meeting her at AX because I saw her in the autograph line, and I told her in Japanese, my name's John Marr. I teach your music in all my classes. And then they get you out of there in a hurry. Those autograph lines, you guys done them? Yeah. You're done in like 20 seconds, man. Like 8 people. You know, it's like, boom. Yes, question. Yes.
I noticed that the big stanzas, they only appear in the live versions, like in the
yes.
live collection CDs and then at the concert, but it's never in like
Right, and bless you. I think, well, and I'm guessing here, but typically what happens with the soundtrack is that the music is typically too, like what you hear on, like what you see on a film or an anime or whatnot, it tends to be relatively short, so they extend it when they put an album out, and then they may extend it even more for a live performance. Because you're correct in well, the next tune we're going to do, they add the Greek in that as well, in the next piece we're going to do. So I'm just guessing it's because it may work as a 1.5 minute piece, but really it would work as a 3-minute piece. And this one, I don't know, can anybody guess how long that was? Because I always, it's like 6.5 minutes, and it doesn't seem that long because it's so good. All right. So I'm guessing here, but I don't know if that's a real answer for your question, but that would be my guess. I hope you, and once I heard this on Noir, I'm like, this is awesome because, and I'm coming back in a couple hours for the Satoshi Kon panel. It's going to be in here. Susumi Hirasawa, one of my favorites, and then I heard her and was like, whoa, you know, and Hirasawa was fantastic too. All right, a Celtic influence on her music, and some of you. If you were at AX last year, you heard this. Okay. Right, hear it? What's the name of this one? Anybody? Open Your Heart. You hear it? Open your heart. Now, this is from Dot Hack Sign. And, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to pause this real quick. There's a reason why that last piece was in Latin, and it ties into the anime. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. So you have to find the anime if you're wondering why is it in Latin. Sorry. This one I will tell you. Now. You hear that instrument being held? That's called the Elon Pipes. And it's an Irish instrument. And if you've seen Dot Hack Sign, or anybody seen Braveheart? Okay. Recognize this face paint here? Okay, that's why. That's why this is in here. I figure I may as well give it to you. The Eland pipes, they sound a lot like bagpipes. They were used in the film Brave over the summer, the Pixar Disney film, if you saw that. Unlike bagpipes where you blow in, with the Eland pipes, you suck the air in through, you have these two bellows, you pull air in through here, and you push it out with the other arm. So it's the same principle, and indeed the instrument has a similar timbre. And let me just, and pardon me, I want to rewind this just a bit here. You hear that kind of bagpipey type of sound? That's the Eland pipes. going to pipe it down there. So that's Open Your Heart. And if you've seen Dot Hack Sign, any of you seen it? Okay. And by the way, the text very much ties into the anime, so I can highly recommend that to you as well. Okay. And we'll skip the kind of the bridge there. Okay, moving on. Now, this next one, this is Koichi Mashimo. After he worked on her with Noir, this next one is from an anime called Modlocks. Now, I've not seen all of this. I've seen the first, I think, 5 or 6 episodes. The reviews are not as good as Noir. I like it a lot. I think it's fantastic thus far. And here we're going to have a North African or Iranian influence. And you could say North Africa, kind of Arabic, or Persian or Iranian, even though the cultures not always seen eye to eye, say, so to speak. This instrument is called a tombek because the two tones, the main one, you see him playing the middle of the drum, tom, tom, bek, and then you'll snap. So you hear this tom, tom, bek, and they actually like snap the head of the drum and whatnot. So, and it's played, typically played seated like so. You'll see it in like classical Persian ensembles there. So this is Galza from Modlocks, and now this is, bless you. Here we go. Just play a bit here, a bit of this. And here. Synthesizer, okay. Now it's in 6. Most Persian music, dance music, Iranian music is in 6. So if we count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You hear that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what's interesting about Modlocks, it doesn't really take place in a country we've heard of. It's kind of generally North African looking, but it's not like a real place where we could say, oh, like it takes place in like Egypt or Iran or Libya. So the instrumentation. Now, what other percussion instrument do we hear, my friends? Anybody? Take a guess. Tambourine. Very good. Very much, the tambourine is a North African Arabic instrument. Very much traditional usage here. 1, 2, and the. It's not like how it would be treated in, say, a rock band. So you hear the tombek, or the also called a zarb, and the tambourine. So again, she does a very good job, and I'm happy to say it avoids cliche. You know, like Chinese music. Dun, 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 dun. There's no Chinese music that sounds like that. You go to Chinatown, right, gang? Or you go to Little Tokyo. There are no buildings that look like that in China or Japan, right? It's kind of cliche. It's kind of a parody almost. All right, next. Ooh, mixed meter. Now, what this means is this last piece was in 6. Salva Nos was in 4. That electronic music is almost always what we call in 4. It's just our groove here. So, what I want you to do, see if you can count along. Now, this is from an anime called Aquarian Age, which I liked okay. I think the music is great. You know, it's one of her earlier works there, where I could say where I would say the music was a bit above where the anime was. The anime is good; it's not terrible. Worth your time if you just read the reviews. I think you'll be able to tell if you're going to like it or not. So this is Dark Lore. Now, so what meter are we in? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the pulse like here, and I'm going to go 1. I want to see if you guys can count. Okay, let's try this. Okay, everybody, here we go. This should be fun. Okay, and I'll tell you when to start counting. I'll give you a cue here. All right. What do we get? Anybody? Not 12. A big number.
24?
Well, not 20. Oh, wait, what'd you say? 22. Yes, very good. Yes, good job. We're in. So, okay. So, how many of you got it right? Oh. Okay, all right, very good. And so what you really have, now the mixed meter, the influence here, I'm not sure, it could be a few things. Indian music uses mixed meter. Progressive rock, bands like Genesis, King Crimson, yes, a lot of stuff from the 70s. Tool, Primus, maybe from your generation. Or even like the classical composers such as Stravinsky, the 20th century guys, Stravinsky, Bartok, Prokofiev, all of them use mixed meter. Or even like Phil Glass, John Adams, even the newer ones. And so what you have here really is a... Oh, actually, wait, let me back up there. Pardon me. Here it is. There's really a 10 to 5. 1, 2, 3. Now count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that? So it's 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5. 22. You got that? Good job. All right. And other... Now, the second influence is a little trickier, but you just heard some grooves on the instrument in the prior slide. Anybody remember the name of that Persian instrument? The tombek. Good job. That thing there. That whole thing there. That'd be a very common tombek rhythm there. Alrighty. Good job. All right. And so as you can see, I mean, her stuff is a lot of fun. All right. Moving on. Next, image theme from Xenosaga 2, which I have not played, but here is the... Anybody played Xenosaga or Xenosaga 2? I saw it. Oh, good. Or 2 and 3. She did not do 1, I found out. Okay. Ooh. Now, let's see how well you've been listening, class. You've all been doing very well today. I'm happy to write very good things to your parents, and you would all get gold stars. You're doing very well. Oh! What instrument is that? You just heard it. Elan pipes. Good job. Now, what's interesting, if you saw the band live last year at AX, anybody remember what instrument played this? Not the synthesizer, the violin, which I thought was really cool. You ran it through, you could process a violin's signal. Also, for part of the time, you did play an electric violin. So I thought it was really cool that they couldn't, I didn't see any Elan pipes up there, but the violinist was playing the groove. Good job. And we didn't get to Sean Nose singing here with the Celts, but this is Celtic vocalizing. By the way, if you understand Gaelic and you don't understand it, that's okay. She made these syllables up. It's not a language that any of us know, but it still really works, which is fascinating. Now get ready to count again. The last one was pretty easy. See if you guys can do a tough one now. Because of the speaker. What did we get? Not 17. 30. Good. Yeah. Bravo. Okay. Woo. 27 is not bad. No. Okay. So what you have is. Okay. Hold on. Get ready. Okay. You can count. Now I'm going to break it up here. So it's 7, 8, 7, 8. It's two groups of 15, really. But here you go. Okay, let me count it now. You guys have a second chance. She's going to change the chorus when she comes back to it. Amazing, huh? You think, okay, all right, man, I'm ready for 15 or 30 now, baby. Okay, so here we go. She's going to mess with us. She's going to change it when it comes back. So get ready. You got to get that groove in your body. And go. 1. Okay, what are our guesses here?
28.
29! There, yeah! Woo, okay. Wow. 29! And then she repeats this groove again. It's 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 8. Let's count it. Because anybody remember this from AX 2012? What was the first thing the singers did when they got to that chorus? They actually moved the whole time. Remember, this is like the third song, and they sang totally still. And once they got to after they sang that chorus, then they finally started moving and dancing and stuff. But it was really powerful if you remember that, because they stood there those first 3 tunes, and I'm like, this is really interesting. And when they finally moved, I'm like, that is really cool. But then, of course, you know, I think just as anime fans, we're all kind of used to something different, aren't we? Alrighty, so that's the image theme from Xenosaga. So, and I'm sorry to say it was not by Kajiura Sensei, but for the first time ever, I'm happy to say an anime soundtrack got nominated for an Oscar. And I mean not Oscar, Grammy. Excuse me. It was like music for electronic media, so it could be like a film, anime, anything. So, which is too bad because I think this stuff is fantastic. I mean, if you ask me who the greatest composers alive were or are, I'd put her up there with Phil Glass or Arvo Pärt or any of my David Borden, any of my favorites. All right, so her style, real quick. Masterful integration of diverse styles, geographic as well as temporal. Music from all over the world, friends and my friends, all through time. Interestingly enough, at the same time though, many modern composers. Here I'm talking about Arvo Pärt, he's still alive. John Tavener, still alive. Górecki, a Polish composer who died about 3 years ago. Guess what? Guess where their influences come from? Wagner, Beethoven, Bach, the Middle Ages. Oh yeah. So what's interesting is that this pulling all these elements from like 1,000, 1,200 years ago up till today. Now granted, you're not going to write chant like these monks did. And by the way, stuff from the Middle Ages, friends. If I ask you on a test, hey, who wrote this work from the Middle Ages, and you say, you're going to be right 70% of the time. It's anonymous. Most of the music was anonymous. So all over the planet, even pulls it through time up until today, which is fantastic. Avoids cliche. She does not. When I hear it, it sounds genuine and unique compositional voice. And I have to say, man, the type of stuff she writes is the type of stuff I was thinking about writing, and I'm like, dang it, somebody beat me to it. I thought, wouldn't it be great to add these and mix these electronic elements? Because the older I get, the more I like, Dead Mouse and especially Daft Punk. I think I finally caught up with Daft Punk a few years ago. They're amazing. And I'm not one of these composers who will tell you a turntable is not an instrument. It is an instrument. DJs are musicians. They're incorporating prior music. It is composition. Remember, the word composition means composite. Some of this, some of that, some of that, right? It's not one thing, right, friends? That's what it is. Her albums, Fiction and Fiction 2, as well as albums by Kalafina, are available on iTunes. The CDs do tend to be expensive, although I have to say, I haven't seen any at this convention. There's quite a bit of stuff because, as you know, like Genion has gone under, and I think, did ADV go under? the anime companies. A lot of these soundtracks I've picked up, gang, for like $3 or $4. You know, and it's and like the Genion, so all the notes are in English and everything. Which is fantastic. For further study, my friends, I would highly recommend her English site, cantaperme.net, and it's quite good. Her official site is in Japanese, and if anybody knows a newer one, this seems to be a bit outdated. I haven't seen anything posted since this one. Oh, she does. Yeah, and now the Twitter is only in Japanese. I take it. Is that correct? Okay. Yeah, you can follow her on Twitter. Or if you're really desperate, I don't know, man. I won't trust this guy as far as I can throw him. But, you know, if you're desperate, you can always email yours truly. So, let me ask, do we have any, thank you, you've been wonderful. Do we have any questions or comments or none? Oh, yes, sir.
Which version of Open Your Heart were you playing?
Oh, good question. That was from the, pardon me. That is from the fiction, that is from this, hello. We'll go back here. Okay, pardon me. It was from her album Fiction, right here. And you can download that on iTunes. And by the way, hey gang, I know it's easy, I know it's free, I know we have a non-extradition treaty with Romania. Kids, the composer is the person next door. We have mortgages and electric bills just like everybody else. If you download stuff, please download it legally, okay? I mean, it's not gonna, you know, break the bank. And like I said, a lot of this stuff, I found a ton of her stuff at cons at a really good price. And even, I bought the live version of Salvanos, which I always wanted. I think I paid like $50 at AX. Online, it's about 90. So I know it's maybe a little pricey, but please don't steal music. Yes, ma'am. You know, that's a good question. I have I've only seen like one episode of with Magai, and the thing is, I like what I've heard. I love the main thing. I think it's fantastic. I've not seen the entire anime yet because, if those of you know, you cannot purchase it for less than $40 for like 6 episodes right now, right? I mean, and so from what I've talked to some people who know things, and evidently they always, yeah, we see QB over there, I know. I'm not naked, I ain't signing no contract. Yeah, okay, yeah, well, you can stay away from me. And my daughter, all right. And, I do not know. I like what I've heard, but at one point I want to see the entire series front to back. And I'm still old school, gang. I like, you know, hard copy DVDs and whatnot. So. Right? Okay, I know. Alrighty. So any other questions? Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Which one? I have not. I have not. No.
And that's a lot of like, I think it's supposed to tell the story of like, it's like a documentary on old Japan.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of like old Japanese stuff, but at the same time, you get all these adventures and I was gonna ask about that.
Oh, you know, that's a very good. I'm not familiar with it. I'm sorry to say, and I have to say, by the way, thank you so much for coming. I didn't think anybody would show up during the masquerade. I know. I figured I have my children and maybe a couple of friends, and it's great you're here. This, if you're not familiar with this website, this is actually quite good, and it is quite expansive as far as like, I mean, if she had, oh gosh, I felt like one of the Gundam seeds. I think she did like the 4th one, and she did like one tune. And I found it. I found it, and I could read her name. And it was like it's like one tune by her. So she has so much out. I just haven't caught up with it. But the thing is, I've had such a good reaction to this. I may do like a sequel to this at some point maybe next year or at I hope to do this again maybe at Anime Expo or Anime Kanji. I'm not sure. So, other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I hope you found it useful and enjoy the convention. Thank you.